Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Gulla. I am president of the State Employees Association, SEIU Local 1984. Thank you all for joining us here today at SEA headquarters in Concord. And I am pleased to be sitting with Senate Majority Leader and Gubernatorial candidate Dan Feltus. Thank you for being with us, Senator.
Thank you.
Recently, you announced you will reject the pay raise that Governor Sununu accepted until the minimum wage is increased. Is it fair to say that this stance is also in solidarity with state employees?
Yes.
Great.
Yes. No, I thank you for the question. I'm going to reject and return the pay raises that Chris Sununu took while he was simultaneously vetoed minimum wage and did not give state employee contracts to our hardworking state employees. So unless and until we reinstate and raise the minimum wage and get a state employee contract, I will be at the same wage that Maggie Hassan paid herself. And Chris Sununu took, to be clear, took pay raises amounting to $31,000 a year, literally, for himself, while vetoing the minimum wage. Now you got people on the front lines of this epidemic and this pandemic, working hard, doing whatever it takes, no matter the risk, to keep our state and our country afloat, working hard but living in poverty. No one should work 40 hours a week and live in poverty. And these are folks on our front lines.
Yeah.
You know, these are folks that we have a new definition, I think, of essential worker. It's not the folks in the Wall Street banks, the kind of banks that I fought against who were foreclosing on people during the last economic crisis when I was a legal aid lawyer helping protect people's homes. It's the people on the front lines. It's our state employees. It's folks in the grocery stores and retail, folks on the front lines, our healthcare workers, our workers in the public health division. They ought to have a state contract with fair wages and fair benefits. And unless and until we get that done, and unless until we reinstate and raise the minimum wage here in the state of New Hampshire, I will have rejected and returned all of Chris Sununu's pay raises.
Thank you, and I know our employees will definitely appreciate that. He has not been a friend to us at all in any way. One final question on labor. Could you please detail your thoughts on the minimum wage as you mentioned, and what do you think it should be, and whether you support paid family medical leave, and if so, why?
Well, thank you for the question. In terms of the minimum wage, we got to get to $15 an hour. I do support a gradual increase similar to what Representative Chris Pappas and Representative Annie Custer voted for in the U.S. House, but we got to get there. And this is good for the economy. This is good for people on the ground and small businesses. More money in people's pocket means more spending for small businesses, means people can afford rent, means people can afford to, buy some food, afford basic necessities. Again, no one should be working hard but living in poverty. It's a critical value, but it's also a critical economic value about how we move forward. And it has a disproportionate impact on low-wage workers, obviously, but also women, and also persons of color. And so we talk about racial justice, we also have to talk about it in terms of economic justice, because raising the minimum wage will have a disproportionate positive impact on communities of color right here in the state of New Hampshire. So I don't think, Chris Sununu, just like Trump, opposes raising the minimum wage. And Chris Sununu, just like Trump, has given out special tax treatment and special treatment to his family businesses. And Chris Sununu, just like Trump, has denied that systemic racism even exists. And when you talk about systems, including the lack of a minimum wage, the lack of an adequate wage that has a disproportionate negative impact on workers of color, that's what that means. It doesn't mean that every single person within a system is racist. What it means is there's policies and practices that have a disproportionate negative impact on communities of color. That's systemic racism. And the first step in combating systemic racism is acknowledging it exists.
Yeah.
And it exists in the economic context too. And minimum wage is a prime example. In addition to that, The absence of access to paid family and medical leave insurance disproportionately falls on communities of color and workers of color too. Look, this is a critical issue. I've sponsored legislation on this. It was my bill, Senate Bill 1, that we passed for the first time in New Hampshire history on paid family and medical leave. Chris Sununu vetoed it. Not only vetoed it, he auctioned off a copy of his veto at a partisan political fundraiser to the highest bidder, and then proceeded to auction off the U.S. flag and the New Hampshire flag flown over the State House the day he vetoed that bill. Think about what message that sends to working families and to veterans who have fought for that flag and fought under that flag. Auctioning off the U.S. flag that was flown over the State House the day he vetoed paid family leave. And not once, not twice, but 3 different times, he actually called paid family and medical leave insurance, quote, a vacation. Well, look, working together on November 3rd, we're going to give Chris Sununu a permanent vacation. That's what we're going to do. And when we do that, we're going to finally get paid family and medical leave insurance done. We've got to. It's critical right now in COVID. Just imagine what our families are going through right now. There's so much uncertainty, day to day. Workers and families, they don't even know what the next day will bring. Don't even know if their kids will be out of daycare or out of school, or whether or not their employer will accommodate it. Having paid family and medical leave insurance right now in this pandemic would have made a huge positive impact on workers and families who are taking it on the chin right now more than ever. And so we got to go forward with paid family and medical leave insurance. It's about attracting and retaining the workforce of tomorrow. It's about making sure we combat the opioid epidemic, making sure we deal with the caretaking crisis in our state with an aging workforce and an aging population and a workforce that cares for them, and dealing with COVID. So it's absolutely critical we go forward with paid family and medical leave insurance, and we're going to get that done when we win this race.
Thank you.